Welcome back to Random Rod Shop, folks. Well, today we're gonna try something I haven't done before. So let me show you what we got. So here's the 67 fender that came off that blue truck. It's missing a little bit, and it's got a bobble in the back too. I am really happy the way this thing turned out. So sorry I got this flipped upside down, but I've been working to try to figure out how to strap it down. So there's a crease right here in the front of this 1967 fender, and it looks like it was hit right there because the metal is stretched. I don't know if you can see it, but the metal is stretched right there. And so what I'm going to try to do is I'm going to try to heat this up rather than try to bang it out, given the metal's already stretched, and that's a pretty sharp point right there. I'm going to try to heat this up and at least get it pulled apart before we start beating on it. Now, what I've done here, I've done my best to kind of strap this thing down to hold it where to hold it down so I can actually pull. So I've got a strap running here to this corner, and I've got a strap running here around. You can see I've kind of got it wrapped and whatever it takes to hold it. I've got a strap running across to try to keep it from going that way. And what I did was I made a plate to bolt on here so that I can sort of distribute the load. And I got a plate on this side just to sort of clamp that. This is where the fender bolts onto the body. So I've tried to clamp it together so I don't deform that too much. What I've been working on is what's the best direction to pull on this thing, because in the end that should be vertical, right? And this needs to go that way. So I've got a block under here, and I'm kind of pulling in an angle on this thing because you can see this thing tilts up that way and needs to come down. It needs to come down, so that bottom edge is straight. So I have no idea whether this is going to work. Bottom line, if I mess it up, I'll cut the bottom off off the same fender that I, cut off to fix that side. So I figured this was a good time for a learning experience. So let me get the torch hooked up. I've got, these things are I kind of got them set up as banjo strings right now. So I think it's pretty tight, but we'll know once we put a little heat on here if this thing's going to pull. So I'm going to get the camera set up, get the torch hooked up, and we're going to put some heat on here, and we'll just see if it works. So I don't have to tell you that I'm going to use a cutting torch for the heat. That's a lot of heat, so I'm going to try to keep it away from there, but we'll see. I'm having trouble with this double kink right here. I don't know, I'm gonna kink on it some more, but I may need to actually cut that lip right there. All right, I think at the end of the day, I'm not good enough to do that double. Let's see, there's 3 bend lines there. So I'm going to cut that so that I can relieve a couple of them so we can get this bent back down. What the thought is, hopefully we can weld this thing back up. All right, well, I think I've got it at the point now I can loosen this thing up and wallow this thing around and see if we can straighten some stuff up. So let me unclamp it. All right, got it all cleaned off here. You can see that whatever hit it went all the way back here. So I think what we're gonna do at this point is I'm gonna try to get out some of this. You can see that's what I was talking about with the 3 bends. There's a bend there, there's a bend there, and there's a bend there. I may regret that, but I think I'm gonna flip it over. We're gonna beat on this for a while. I'm just sitting here pondering whether I should try to knock that down or knock that down from the inside. I think we're gonna see what happens if I put the dolly behind that and actually put it behind this and see if I can knock this down a little bit. We'll see what happens. I can see the end game at least a little bit. Something tells me I'm gonna chop this piece out of the other fender, because that's kind of mangled. Let me flip it over and let me see if we can get some more of that out. Got it stretched right here. Still need to get all the way back. Need to get that piece out right there. Let's see what it's going to take. All right, so I think I'm going to use the curve on this thing. I don't know how much of this I'm going to be able to film. I'm going to have to hold the thing up and get it on my block of wood and beat on it. I need the hook to go the other way. All right, that looks much better. I think I need to, I don't know, let me see here. Still got a piece right there that's not wanting to give up the ghost. It flattened out that seam, so I'm gonna have to get that out right there. Let me see what I can come up with. All right, well, I beat on this thing and beat on this thing and beat on this thing. Tried a lot of things. I found a, you know, my drill vise. Tried to give me a curved surface, and in the end, it just moving around so much that I couldn't get it happy. So I made a pattern. You know, that's what the curve is supposed to look like. And I think it's still flat right here, but I needed to weld it together. Let me get the camera down here. That's probably as good as I'm gonna hold it. So you can see it right there. Just a little bit low right there. But I'm hoping now that it's fixed, I can work on this thing just a little bit more. And once I got it all put together, there's not much of a high spot right there. I mean, there's still a high spot, don't get me wrong, but that actually isn't too bad right there, and we'll have to patch that. But that wasn't the 800-pound gorilla. I still don't know if I'm not gonna cut the bottom off the other one, but this was a learning experience. Let me get this ground off, and let's see if we can. I think I'll go get that other fender, and I'll make a pattern across, I don't know, somewhere across here, so we can get some idea of how stretched that is. Let me grind this off, and I'll do some more hammering on it. See if I can bring up that low spot right there. All right, let me get the grinder out. All right, okay, so I made a pattern and it was about right there. So you can see we got a hump right where we thought it was. Right in there. We're gonna have to work on that some more. Got it ground off. We're not far. Still about 1/8 of an inch low in that area right there. From about right here to right there. So that area right there is low. And if we look at it's not unexpected. We need to get that down right there. And we need to get that edge up. Well, I think I'm gonna get me a wet rag. I'm gonna heat the spots up. I'll see if I can find my, be nice if I get a smaller tip. That cutting torch is kind of big. I don't know what else I got to it. All I've ever used it for is a cutting torch. I'll dig around, see if I can find maybe a little brazing tip. And we'll heat this up, give me a wet rag, and we will try to shrink that. Well, I think about this. There's a lot going on right here in this edge. This area definitely needs to be brought back up. All right, I'll turn you off. I'm gonna go look in and see what options I got for my cutting torch. And then I'll find me a wet rag, and we'll see what we can do here. All right, well, I found a brazing tip, so that should help out. And I've been pondering, and I think I had decided to cut back through the side where I'd kind of tacked it together. Because right here, this area, this crease right here, not the inside one, but this crease right here is the one that's low. I'm gonna take this chisel and see if I can knock that crease down, which should make this whole thing a lot happier, and it'll be a lot closer to what it's supposed to be. So let me try that. All right, let me get this thing flipped over and let's have a look at it. All right, let's see here. Well, folks, I think I can live with that. It's not perfect, but it's not too bad. So what we're left with now is we'll get that welded back up where I cut it. And we need to see if we can get rid of just a little bit of this hump. Well, that ain't terrible over there and there, so the hump is right here. I think we're going to see if we can shrink that area right there. Let me get a dolly on this thing and let me smooth it out, and then we're going to see what we can do. Let me get the torch. I think a couple more times at this and we're going to be close. Well, it would appear that I didn't get it shrunk enough, and now I'm in danger of chasing this stinking bubble around. We need to figure out what we're going to do here. That's the danger with heat. I know there are people out there that are pretty good at it. I'm not one of them. Well, I'm going to see what I can do right there. Well, that helped. Actually, that helped a lot. Let me go get a sander and let's see how bad this is. Actually, before I do that, I better weld this up. All right, let me weld that up real quick. All right, folks. Well, I'm happy about this. I really didn't know how this was going to turn out. That's just a little bit above my skill set. But if I can find a picture, I'll stick it in here. From what we started with to what we got now, is a workable fender. Let me get the camera down. This is the fender we worked on in an earlier video, right? Remember, this was all caved in. Well, the patch was caved in, the blue fender, this was all gone, right? So still got a few dents and dings in the patch. Obviously, I still got some more work to do up here, but that is flat. I'm happy about that. That's not a lot of work right there. This is now workable. We can turn that into a fender there, or that we can fix that. This piece over here, you guys saw it earlier. This had a nasty crease in it, and it's still not entirely beat out, but I think that is workable. And this is a pretty straightforward patch here. All right, I'll cut this off the one of the extra fenders I've got, same one I cut that off of, and we'll patch this in here. But I can't tell you how happy I am about this. I was a little concerned about putting the heat on this panel. I'm pretty good at using heat to straighten, rear ends, right? It's a lot of steel. You can control it. This is not my expertise at this point, but I'm happy the way that turned out. We now have a fender that was junk in my mind, and it is now a workable fender. Matter of fact, this fender is going to go on my 71 so I can convert that nose to a 67. I think the last piece, the other fender, let me get the other fender up here. The reality of this is kind of child's play compared to what we just did. This doesn't concern me at all. So this fender's in good shape. The hood is in pretty good shape. Got a little ding on the nose of it, but I'm gonna go ahead and get this fixed and probably go ahead and fix the hood offline too, because it's not bad. It's just got a little ding right up on the front. Nothing, as far as I know at this point, there's no rust in the hood, and it's got about as much paint as these things do. So I think the next time, hopefully the weather cooperates. We're supposed to get snow starting tomorrow night. So we'll see how next weekend works out. But hopefully we can put a front end on that 71. Oh, I almost forgot. Went ahead and welded up the radiator support. Got that all put together. This area is a mess. It's not complicated, but there are a lot of pieces. So you got to kind of think about it when you're welding stuff together to make sure you get everything welded together. This was this is the piece we did on the video. This is the major one. These are not complicated to build. They're just straight bends. So radiator support's done. I still haven't got the 69 to 71 headlight buckets extensions off of this one, but I believe that's nothing more than drilling out 6 spot welds. So until I actually get into it and verify that core support looks like the 67, except it's got those extensions, at this point I'm going to go into it thinking, yeah, that's not too bad. Well, folks, I appreciate you watching. If you're not subscribed, subscribe, leave a like, and leave a comment. I try to answer all the comments. And until next time, I'm Random at Random Rod Shop, and I'm out of here.